everybody, it's been a very long time since I posted a video, any kind of video, but I'm happy to be back sharing some more meals that my family had for dinner this week. I also have a few clips that I had taken before I stopped doing YouTube for a little bit. Anyway, that'll be at the end of the video. So right now what you see me doing is I'm cutting up some vegetables for some baked rotini. I cut up an onion, and now I'm cutting up a green bell pepper, and then I'm gonna chop up some mushrooms, and I'm gonna saute them in some vegetable oil. Now I'm adding some minced garlic to the rest of the veggies. I didn't want to add it too soon because if you cook it too long, it could get bitter, and I didn't want that to happen. Once all my veggies are cooked, I put them in a bowl to the side, and now I'm adding a pound of ground beef and a pound of ground Italian sausage. Once my meat has cooked down a little bit, I'm going to start adding my seasonings. I'm going to add some salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and then I'm going to add some Kingsford garlic and herb seasoning. I found this at the Dollar Tree and decided to give it a try. I'm not a big, adventurous person when it comes to different seasonings, but I wanted to try something new. And I have to say, I don't know. I couldn't really tell it was in there with all the other flavors in the dish, but it didn't make it taste bad. So if you'd like to give it a try, I'm sure you can make your own opinion on that. I'm adding a 16-ounce box of rotini to some boiling water, and I'm just going to cook that till it's al dente so it still has a little bit of bite, since I am going to be baking this in the oven. Once my meat is all cooked up and I've drained all the fat from it, I add my veggies back in, and I'm going to add the tomato sauce on top of that and mix it all together and let it cook while the noodles finish cooking. This was a very thick, meaty, just very full sauce with all the veggies and meat in it. I thought it was going to be way too much for the amount of noodles I cooked, so I was trying to just put half of the sauce in with the noodles. But once I mixed it together, I realized that the rest of the sauce was needed, so I just added everything else back in. And once I did that, I put it in a baking dish. I sprinkled some shredded Parmesan cheese over the top because I didn't have any grated Parmesan cheese, but this worked just fine. And then I'm going to add some Italian blend shredded cheese as well. I wish I would have had mozzarella. I thought I did before I started cooking, but once I was in the middle of it, I realized these were the ingredients I was working with, and that's what I used. And it turned out really good. So I'm going to cover that or add some parsley just for a little pop of color, make it look pretty on camera. And then I'm going to put some foil on. I like to spray my foil with some like cooking spray before I cover it, just so that the cheese doesn't stick to the foil. I hate that because I love my melted cheese, and when it sticks to the top, it's like, oh, that was for nothing. So I'm gonna bake it in a 350-degree oven for about 25 minutes. Then I'm gonna take the foil off, and it's pretty much done, but I wanted that cheese to get a little bit brown on top and just look ooey gooey and delicious. While that is cooking, I'm taking a bag of garlic knots that I got from Aldi, and I'm just going to cut a couple of slits in the bag so it kind of steams in the bag a little bit. So what I end up doing is I cut the bag off and like the top, and then I stick them back in the oven until the rolls are browned on top. And then I just served that with a side salad with some Aldi version Olive Garden dressing. It was very good. So the other day I was at Aldi shopping and I found the croissant buns, and I had them like several months ago when they were in the stores before, and when I saw them again I was like, ooh, I really need to get these. These are so good. So I got them again and decided to make some breakfast sandwiches for dinner. I love breakfast for dinner. I love breakfast anytime. So I'm gonna brown up or cook some bacon, however you want to say that. And once the bacon is cooked, I'm just gonna put it on a plate and let that grease kind of drain off. So I'm going to warm up my croissant buns, just taking them out and then opening them up. Croissants have a lot of butter in the bread anyway, so I didn't put anything on them. I just put them in the oven at 350 degrees, probably for about 5 minutes until they were warm and, ready to eat. Now I'm gonna cook some eggs. Did you see that? I got an egg with a double yolk. Whenever that happens, it makes me so happy. I don't know what it is. It just seems kind of lucky. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, so I'm gonna cook these eggs up just enough for each sandwich. And you see my buns have already come out of the oven and they are ready to go. Now, my son does not like cheese, so I am gonna put a bun to the side for him so I can make his sandwich. But my husband and I do like cheese, so I'm just cutting up like thin slices of sharp cheddar cheese, and I'm gonna put that on top. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. And this is how our sandwiches turned out. As you can see, they looked so good and tasted even better. Very filling. I just made some tater tots in the air fryer and had some strawberries we needed to eat, so we had that on the side. This was a great, easy dinner. I don't know about you, but I love watching Tamara at Southern Wife Everyday Life. Her channel is just very real life, and her food is just... it seems like the kinds of things that my family eats as well. So anyway, she is always making smash burgers on her channel, and I was like, ooh, I want to make some smash burgers, but I don't have like a Blackstone or like one of those flat top grills outside, right? So I just used my griddle and I cooked up some bacon. And I was like, I'm just gonna wing it. I'm gonna try and make some smash burgers right here in my kitchen. They were pretty good. I don't know if they are exactly smash burgers, but I did smash the meat. So, you know, they're kind of smash burgers, right? So I'm just cooking up some bacon, and I'm gonna leave that grease on the griddle so that my burgers can cook in the grease and just add some extra flavor to that. So now I'm just gonna mix up my meat. I'm just going to add some salt, some pepper, some garlic powder, and some onion powder, and then I'm just gonna get my hands and mix it all together because really that's just the best way to mix it up, and in my opinion. So anyway, I mixed it up, and then I just started making little balls for my, like, kind of like meatball sized, for my burgers. And I just put it right there in the bowl. We wanted onion rings with our burgers, got some in the frozen section and laid them out on a baking sheet. And my son doesn't like onion rings, so I decided to make some homemade french fries for him in the air fryer. And I just peeled and cut up a potato into french fry sized pieces, put them in my air fryer, and drizzled it with some olive oil and some salt and shook it up and put it in the air fryer. I cooked them too long and they got a little bit too crispy, but he liked them. So here's where you see me attempting the smash burger. I took the balls, I took a bowl, which was plastic, and I also took some parchment paper, and I put the parchment paper on the burger and smashed it down. Now, the bowl probably was not the best thing to smash down the burgers with because it is plastic. It worked okay. It didn't melt, but I did get a couple little marks on the bottom of it. The good thing about these burgers is they don't take a lot of time to cook because they are so thin. Once they were brown on both sides, I added some cheese. And you will see on my plate, I just have 2 burger patties with some bacon and tomato. And I attempted to make some sauce to go on. I'm not going to share that because I don't think it was like that great, but it turned out okay. On this night, I am making some chicken tetrazzini. So I'm putting some defrosted chicken breasts in my air fryer. Nope, just kidding. In my Instant Pot, my Aldi brand Instant Pot, and just cooking that up. So once it's all cooked up and shredded, I'm going to add the ingredients. So I'm going to share this recipe in the description box down below, but I'm adding some chicken stock, some butter, some cream of mushroom soup, some cream of chicken soup. Now the recipe called for 2 cans of cream of chicken, but I decided to use a can of cream of mushroom and a can of cream of chicken, and it turned out really good. Then I'm going to add some sour cream and mix it all together. I used spaghetti noodles instead of linguine noodles, and it turned out just fine to me. We really enjoyed it. Now, when I add the spaghetti noodles, you'll see they're kind of like congealed together a little bit because my noodles got done before I was done with my little mixture here. But that's okay. I did my best to mix it up, and it turned out just fine. Once I'm done mixing it together, I'm just going to put it in a baking dish and make a mess. And once it's all in the baking dish, I'm just going to sprinkle some Parmesan cheese and some mozzarella. And yes, I finally got the cheese I needed for this dish. Well, I need it for the other dish, but I had it for this one, so that's what matters. Anyway, this was super, super good. I hope you try it. I really enjoyed it, and it was pretty easy to make. All right, so now it's chili time. So what I did was brown up 2 pounds of ground beef. I added some salt and some pepper and a little bit of garlic powder. But then I did something I've never done before. I added some of that Sazon Goya seasoning. You usually find it in like the Hispanic section in the grocery store. Yeah, I tried it and it was really good. I'm so glad that I added that. I added 2 of the packages. Oh, and I was out of an onion. Like we ran out of onions. I don't know what happened, but I added some minced onion instead. So anyway, once that meat mixture was all cooked up, I added it to my crock pot. And you're gonna see me add some other things to my crock pot. I'm just going to add some diced tomatoes, 2 cans of diced tomatoes. Then I'm gonna add 1 can of Rotel. And what else do I add? You'll see me add some cans of tomato sauce. I wasn't sure how much I needed, so I added it to 8-ounce cans at first, and then I started adding my beans. So what I do with my beans is I put them in a strainer and I rinse them off just because I don't want all that other stuff that's in the can. I don't know, I thought I like to do it that way. It doesn't matter how you do it. If you just want to add the whole can to the crock pot, that's up to you. So once I added all my beans to the crock pot, I mixed it up. I was looking, do I need more tomato sauce? Do I not? Last time I made chili on my channel, I added water to it. I don't know what I was thinking, so I made sure I didn't add any water, but I did add about 4 8-ounce cans of tomato sauce just to make sure it was, had like a little bit of a sauce to it. And then I added some chili powder to the whole mixture. I probably added at least a 1/4 cup of chili powder, maybe more. I was just doing it to taste. You do what works best for you. So this is how my chili looked after it had cooked in the crock pot for about 5 hours. And it was so good. I'm so glad. And it had a little bit of heat from the chili powder and the Rotel tomatoes. It was so good. So I cooked some rice in my rice cooker so we could serve the chili over rice. And then I also made some cornbread. I just followed the directions on the back of the Jiffy cornbread box. I made 2 boxes of that and cooked it up. And then I just like to put some butter on the top, and that's what you see me doing here, is just spreading butter over the delicious cornbread. So I just served my chili over some rice with some sour cream and shredded cheddar cheese and a piece of cornbread. So good! So here are some clips from probably October of 2021 where I didn't end up posting this What's for Dinner video, but I did want to share it with you because I did make it and it was really good. I believe this was a pot roast, and I'm going to try and find the recipe that I followed. So right now I'm just slicing up some carrots and celery, and this is going to be a crock pot meal. Okay. So, I made some taco meat. I made a double batch because I had 2.5 pounds. So whatever I don't use, I'm going to freeze. I'm using these Mission Flour soft taco. They're pretty big for the enchiladas. I sprayed my baking dish and so yeah. I had some enchilada sauce that I had extra, so I had frozen the enchilada sauce. So that's why it's in a bag. I had defrosted it, and now I'm pouring that over my enchiladas and just making sure all the tortillas are covered as best as possible. Once I do that, I'm gonna cover it with some shredded cheddar cheese and some olives. Oh, this was so good. I highly recommend you make this recipe. This is how it looked when it came out of the oven. I baked it at 350 for about 30 minutes and it was just so delicious. Yes, very good. I also made some Spanish rice in a pot on the side. I don't remember what kind. Like I said, this was several months ago, but it was good. Use whatever kind of Spanish rice you like for your family. Thank you so much for watching today's What's for Dinner. I know it's been a while and I'm so glad that you came back and watched today. And if you're new, thanks for joining me. And if you want, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'd love to have you here. I hope everyone has a great week with lots of good eats. See you next time. Bye.